Hello and welcome back to Behind Marketing Lines. Today we have a very special episode because we have a very special guest with us. I doubt if I need to introduce this man to marketers based in UAE especially. This person picked me from the streets, polished me, and presented me to the world. I call him Philip Kotler Jr. The world calls him Ali Mehboob. Ali bhai, welcome to Behind Marketing Lines.
Thank you very much. I was not expecting that kind of an intro, but thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to the show. I have a lot of questions prepared for you, but I would like to keep it candid.
Okay.
I know you as a marketer, and when the word marketing comes to my mind, the next person or the thing comes to my mind is you. So why marketing? I mean, why did you choose it as a profession? And if you weren't a marketer, what would you be?
Well, I think I'd be selling cars if I was not doing marketing.
Okay.
But because I love cars and that's one of my passion, probably. But why marketing journey is quite interesting, and I've told you so many times, so I'll be repeating. But just for your podcast, I'll repeat. I was a student in those days. I was sitting home. And a friend of mine called me and he said he wants to come over and he needs to discuss something very important. And I said, yeah, sure, come over. He came and he had a businessman with him who came in a very flashy car and, very well-dressed gentleman. And so I had to quickly arrange, I have guests plus guest, right? So anyway, they came, they sat down, and I was still trying to understand what's going on, what are we doing here? And then he opened up and he said, this gentleman, he's an industrialist, and they have multiple factories and different industries. And he has probably bought a plant which makes soap. And he needs, and I told him that I have a friend who can really design a nice brand and packaging and the whole 9 yard. So I brought him here.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, okay. Why was he saying that? Was later revealed that why was he saying that? Because we were studying computer science, and in computer science, I was very bad at coding. I was poor. And normally, you know that there are groups, you form a group of 3, group of 4, and you have a project and you're working on that project. And I'll be the one designing either the reports for people
right,
or the screens. So UI, UX in today's world, and the report that any software or any database generates.
So you were the creative of the group.
Yeah, and I was bad at everything else. So I would like, okay, so I'll do it for myself, then I'll do it for the other group, then the other group, and then other group. And that thing just became a bit famous, at least in the college. So this is why he brought him. And after he left me with that homework, that's when I started doing the research that, okay, what should a soap label look like? And why do they look like the way they look like? What is the decision-making process of a person when he or she is almost about to pick it up, when they are walking through the aisles? And then I realized there is a lot of science and logic and study and research behind it. You just cannot come up with the brand name. You just cannot come up with the design and think that it's going to work. So that was the start of it. And I ended up I was lucky that I ended up, when I was looking for a job, I found a job in an advertising agency. And this was older days, 98, and these guys were typical advertising agency, mostly doing printing stuff. In those days, internet was new, and websites were becoming a thing. So, and during college, because I told you I was doing interface design, so I did few websites of other people and mine as well, for my project as well, final year project. And I go for an interview, and this gentleman asks me, he said, "Can you design a website?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Have you ever designed a website?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Can you show me?" I said, "Yes." So I told him, "This is the URL." And he went online and he saw the website and he said, "Okay, here is a project. Start working on it." And I started working on it. So that was my foot in the marketing world through advertising and through the one part of it, one element of it, which was new, and that was websites. Sorry for a long answer, but
But it
that's
was really interesting.
so. This is the it's. I mean, I didn't go into more detail of everything, but this is basically how the journey really began.
And but it's very interesting as well. So you have come a long way, more than 20 years into marketing. So if we were to look at it this way, that consider your life journey as a marketing campaign, so what would your tagline be?
What would the tagline be? Well, that's normally what I used to do was that, and this I learned around 2015, 16 days, that every year should have a headline.
Interesting.
So, and I used to do it because normally you when you're working for companies and when you are in your professional life, you set your KPIs at the beginning of the year, and those are they derive from the company goals and wherever the company wants to go, and then subset of that is your department and just like everybody else, and then you put your own KPIs, then your team's KPIs, and that's what basically derives you. So every year I used to put a headline. Either not like before, I don't put the headline before, I put some goals for myself. If I achieve those goals, then one of them would be a big one, and I consider this year this was my headline. So there are so many headlines of every year, but if I say that what's the one headline and I keep the marketing hat on, I think it should be reach more and more with positivity. Because look, the you know what do we do? Like what is marketing? What do we exactly do? We pick up any one item and we look at it carefully. We try to find what's great about it, and we try to get rid of the negatives. Go back to the product guys and say, you know what, here are a few negatives I found because I did the research, there is a gap, can you fix this? So I'll be speaking the truth when I'm marketing your product. And
True.
then you take that product into the market and you have a headline and you say this is energy efficient, or this is what, or this is modern, or whatever. I mean, it depends on any kind of. That's why I say a marketing person should not label himself as one industry person. If I worked in a bank, I should not become a banker. If I worked in an insurance, I shouldn't become an insurance guy. But you're a marketeer. You just take any product or take any marketing problem and focus on solving that by looking around a 360. Where are you operating? How can I resolve or solve a marketing problem? And I think that will eventually make you address the second issue or the second end result, which is the reach. Why am I marketing? I want more and more people to know about it. Why are we sitting in a podcast?
True.
Right? Why did you decide to do that? Because the message, the audience needs to be grown. You want more and more people to listen to this and to reach and to know you, to know me, to know other people that will come on your podcast. So otherwise, what's the point?
That is
Right?
correct.
It's not just for us that we go back home and put it on YouTube and watch it ourselves. There's no
True.
point in that.
True.
And sorry again, the answer is getting longer,
No, I think it's perfect. You're right.
but I think this is a fundamental mistake which I see a lot of marketeers still do. They will create something beautiful, they have worked hard on it, they have come up with a lovely campaign, and then there's no audience, or it's not reaching the audience it's supposed to reach. Then what's the point? So The better the reach, the bigger the audience. I think that should be the headline which I want to leave with. That, okay, whatever I did, wherever the journey I started from, whatever I did, the goal was a bigger footprint, a bigger audience, a global audience. That's what I wanted to do. Otherwise, no point in doing anything marketing.
I think it makes sense. And for the startup founders listening to this podcast, I think there is another message that's hidden in what you just said, is that the marketing team should be involved in the product development from the beginning so that they can first identify what the market is looking for, right? I mean, scientists sit together and they come up with a product, and at the end of the day, if there is no demand for it in the market, then there is no point of actually developing it, right? And then marketers are expected to, create the demand. I mean, there is this whole science behind demand generation at the moment. And I know all of us, the marketers, we are doing it. But again, if you bring us in right when you start doing your product design, is I think would be beneficial and would save a lot of dollars.
The thing is, product design should not even start if the marketing department or people in marketing haven't given their input. Where are they going to get their input? They're going to do market research to actually first find out the gap and then give you that research and say, here you are, this is the gap that you need to fill, right?
True.
Only then you will end up making a product which is acceptable and which is very quickly received and perceived as that area which was the gaps, it's filling that. And that's why products get hit. And the products that get failed is only the reason is that there is absolutely no market research. There is nothing. It's just nothing against any engineers or product developers. But because they have a different mindset, they're designing, developing something, they're not interested in what the outside world want. That's what the marketing should tell them, right? That's why, and I have, but in many organizations that I have worked, it took me some time to convey this message that you need to include us, because if you are telling us about your product once you are done with it and it's ready to go, because you cannot go back to the drawing board. So you've given us a product and you're saying, can you sell it now? The moment I do my first dipstick research and I found out, oh, guess what? There are 6 gaps that you haven't been able to address here. So if I market this, it's going to fail. And then eventually it looks like it's a marketing campaign failure, which is not the case, because we were not involved in the kitchen when you were cooking it, right? So you need to be part of that, which you rightly said. That's true.
I agree. Been there. Uh, on another note, you're a marketer yourself, and I would love to know that who are other marketers that you look up to, whose work you try to follow, or whose work you're actually looking forward to seeing that, okay, he or she is another marketer, probably in on an international scale, maybe. Apart from Philip Kotler, of course, because all of us, we have read his books when we were getting started with the journey. So yeah, who's your inspiration?
There is a book called One Page Marketing by Alan Dibb, I believe. I hope I'm not, is that same? So that gentleman has basically, if you talk about reading something modern and then putting your current marketing into that structure, then I would say that Alan Dibb is the person. Look at it, read that book and see, because he simplified it and he made it into a very simple marketing 360 plan, which basically can be implemented. It's like it's a glove fits all kind of a situation. You take it, you implement it in any business and it's doable. That's one short answer to that. Inspirational wise, I know it will sound, everybody would say that, it again will sound cliche or whatever, but Apple as a company and Steve Jobs, when he was driving it and when he was in the front seat, there was a new thing, let's say, which was said, that it's a marketing oriented or a marketing driven company, right? Some companies are engineers driven, finance driven, sales driven. This was a marketing driven company because the guy himself was not an engineer. He was not making the chip. He was not making the computer or anything. He was brilliant in terms of understanding what the requirement of a customer is. 80s old interview, he's sitting in a room, and they've, I think those videos are now surfacing. Some of the old videos are also coming out, and he's saying your computer will become the hub of your entertainment, of your pictures, of your communication, of everything. He said you're not going to open a computer to work on it only. It will have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, everything, right? How can, I mean, how can you foresee so much ahead, and you are in a, like, look at the genius of that person, that he's sitting there and he's telling you that, you know what, this is what's going to happen, this particular product. And at that time he did the Apple One. You're talking about the first motherboard that they created in that
Right.
small room. Then the same company has completely changed number of industries. You don't, everybody designs their UI UX based on them now. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
come up with
interesting to
yours.
see, but yeah, that's
You
correct.
have to look at their UI UX and then design it, because eventually you'll end up making an app for their ecosystem, right? So it's a design revolution. They started it, right? And it's in everything. They came up with one song. Why not a single song can be sold from that idea is coming from where? Idea is coming from the end user, right? He's acting as that marketeer who's understanding the end user. The end user is not willing to buy a full CD or a record player or whatever, because he doesn't want all the songs. He liked one song. He want to buy that one song, right? And everybody said the guy is lost it maybe, and he is trying to fight with those giants who are record companies and all, and they will never agree to this and all that. So he created his own ecosystem, eventually managed to do that, break that status quo, and started selling one song. It used to be $1 a song or something like that. No, 0.99. And some songs which he sold too many became 0.33, 39, 29, something like that. So some were cheaper songs, some were expensive songs, but one song. So you'll buy one song, then comes up with this brilliant idea, 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? I mean, it's a long list. I've read a lot. I have read uh, other people who have written about him. There are books about his presentation genius. There are books about people, how they interacted with him and how ruthless and how good or a bad interaction it was, but what came out of it. There is an incident of a guy a young kid who enters a lift with him, which used to be considered deadly, but a person who entered with him in lift, and he asks him, "What do you do?" And he quickly showed him, you know how the you move your mouse at the bottom of even today on Mac, and the zoom in, zoom out happens of every icon gets bigger. That's it.
Yeah, I've seen
This
that.
kid just designed that. And he
Interesting.
showed him I design. He said, "Oh, brilliant! This is my guy. Come with me." And it took him to the people who are developing. He said, "I want this in my next launch." There are so many other examples,
Right.
but uh, reading him and looking at how he perceived, even before people perceived the product that he was about to launch, is brilliant. Is a work of a genius. Because when you say, like, oh, how the MacBook Air story is unbelievable. They came and they showed him the look at it's we have made it so thin that it's in an envelope. He said, "That's it. This is my advertising idea." If you look at those ads, all those ads, they were bringing MacBook Air out of an envelope, that it's so thin that it's coming out of an envelope. Who thought that he can put a laptop in an envelope, right? So I mean, it's a long list. I know every time I start, people stop me enough,
No, no,
enough.
I don't have to stop you because this is getting really
Yeah.
interesting.
So there are so many such examples. I have read the books and repeated them again just because I'm thinking of something I want to solve. A new marketing problem came to my table, and I'm thinking, how should I? What should I do different? What can I do? And I've most of the times have found the solution into a number of either from the books written about him or his company, or the company he created, which was called Next, and what happened there, and then what was the failure, then he came back again, and how he transformed and changed. So yes, uh, I think I'll continue to do that, and I'll continue reading him because quite an inspiration. And um, yes, more modern books are there. New people have written stuff, but you read, and then you see you need a person behind it who's an achiever as well. He was a very big achiever. When you read him, you say, "Oh, I'm reading somebody authentic. The guy proved it, shown, did it, and the momentum he created. This company is still running on that momentum."
That is correct.
Even after doing many mistakes. But anyway, that's for another day.
Right. So you spoke about marketer driven companies, and then we see companies like Tesla. They don't even have a marketing department. So how important do you think marketing department is for a company, and for startup founders, especially because what I've seen working with a number of them is that they spend most of their funds on developing the product, and when it is time to market, they are not left with a lot of money, right? And then the problem starts. You have to build the brand, you have to position it, then you have to take it to the market. You spoke about reach, and then there is a new thing, engagement. You have to ensure that too, right? So what's your take on it? How important is marketing as a department, and can they do something without having a proper marketing guy? How can they do it themselves?
You asked about Tesla first, so I'll answer, and why they don't have a marketing department, for example. So we are here, sitting here, using this equipment so that we can record a podcast. If we had the same thing, same equipment at home, we won't come here,
That is
right?
true.
And you've also heard larger than life personalities. Mr. Elon Musk has become that.
Right.
He's big, he's huge, right? Um, whatever he says, whatever he tweets, two words sometimes makes the stock go up and down or down,
That's
right?
correct. We have all seen that.
So it's not that they're not doing marketing. He is doing the marketing. He's doing all the marketing for the company, right? First of all, the product he came up with was the huge gap that existed, right? Because there were only petrol driven cars. And then there was a lot of talk about carbon emission, lot of talk about what happened to Volkswagen and the case against them. So many things happening, ozone layer getting damaged, so many things, right?
Right.
And suddenly someone comes up with an idea. He actually took a car which was a Lotus, a UK based company, and he swapped the engine, put the electric in it, and started driving that. He used to drive it himself first,
Right.
and that's it. Then he went for created this company, Tesla. He has been late so many times in his deliveries, yet people are queuing up and waiting to get that car, to get the Cybertruck. I saw it yesterday, by the way. It looks beautiful. So
It does actually.
so the thing is that the hype he creates is marketing. What is it then? It's pure marketing, and he's a marketing genius as well, because the kind of things he's doing, people are running after him for him to say a word, for him to tweet, for him to say something, for him to announce something. I think yesterday or today they are about to announce the self-driven taxi or something. They have a very unique name for it. I'm forgetting,
Right.
but so they're going to launch that. So And I'm not sure if he has a department or not. I think there must be, but let's say he doesn't because he's doing that job.
As
Now sorry.
no, it's okay. Please go ahead.
Now let's look at day to day normal companies around us, right? When they realize that one of the company we worked for, right, when they didn't had a marketing department, and then we went in and then we created a marketing department, right? So they realized that, you know what, there are a few things missing. uh, the brand value is going down. The reach, we don't know the reach where it is, right? Are people walking in and asking for our product? That's not happening. Footfall, no footfall. uh, What's the traffic on the website? No idea. Who'll tell us? No, we don't know. Call the IT. They might tell us. IT is searching quickly and telling them, oh, yeah, today we had 20 people. So, is 20 people good or bad? Nobody is setting any benchmark, right? Then you know what happened, and then we went in, and then you came, and we had a team, and we built the brand, right? We did a lot of things, which I'm very proud of, and very proud of you, what you did as well. So we did a lot of stuff there. And I remember when I was leaving that organization, that's when the CEO said all of those things, which I actually did. Because he hired, because he knew the gap. That's why he hired, and he said that we need a marketing department. And when I was leaving, that's when he was literally announcing, and he was saying, yes, we did tick all of these boxes, and today the brand name is well known. Today the ethical part that we launched is a flagship thing. The products that we launched, the audience that we have, the numbers that we made, all you need to bring in. What do we do? What do we marketers do? We basically dress up the showcase outside of your shop, make it look nice, so that the passers-by look at it, and they pay some attention to the things that you have done there, maybe a neon light or whatever, right? But whatever it is, there should be stopping power. So they come, this, oh, that's nice, and then they knock the door, they come in, and we hand over to the sales department. That's their area now,
I want
right?
to ask a question here, but I think I'll save it for later. What happens next? because I think that this thing, like us or the marketers bringing leads or customers or inquiries to the door of the company, be it through website, be it through footfall. Anyway, the leads are coming in, but what happens next? We can't control it, right?
Yeah.
That's what we say. But
Yeah.
we'll take sales narrative on this as well very soon. But what happens next is what we can't control, and we want to control, right? We want to see, at least, even if we can't control, we want to see what's going on, so that we are able to support that process as well. And then we come back again when the sale has happened, right? And when the service bit starts. So then it is assumed that marketing was over when the sale was made or when the customer came into the door, right? But I think it's about time that we start thinking that way, that, okay, the service bit also needs to co-create that bit, the customer experience bit, with marketing. The sales need to co-create that customer experience with marketing. The product needs to sit and co-create the product with marketing. Even the internal marketing, the HR needs to sit with marketing and see, is the product or the service that we are offering is actually sold to the employees or no? Because if they are not sold, if they don't agree to what the product or service is, I'm pretty sure they can't sell it, they can't service it. They won't be able to create that lasting relationship that we as marketers always go out and promise.
Look, that's why there is a concept of business partners within a company. So inside a marketing department, you have business partners, and you say, you gentlemen will deal with HR. Every time there is an internal comm need to go out, liaise with them, do the whole thing, just pass it by me to make sure everything is okay. How many languages do we need to do? And then push it out. In one of the organization I used to work with, we were in 4 different countries, right? So different languages were there. So we had a team member who was a business partner just for HR Even today, his job is internal comms. He's still there. So,
Nice.
so internal communication used to go that way. Then there was a gentleman who will deal with, let's say, credit card guys. So anything credit card related, you are a business partner for them. Corporate banking group, let's say, you're going to deal with them, and so on. So why are these okay? One business partner can be, because it depends on manpower and all that. So one business partner can be the person who's dealing with 2 or 3 different types of businesses, but still he's a marketing's representative to be there and understand at the time, at the infancy of anything that they're about to plan or create or launch, or a product or a market they want to go in, right? Or let's say a branch they want to open. So that's why these concepts exist. What's happening is that slowly they are shrinking to an extent that some companies don't have a marketing department. They might be giving
That's
you an example of
unfortunate,
Tesla.
right? And exactly, and that's where I was coming to. I mean, I'll let you complete, and
Yeah.
then I have another question for you.
Yeah. Okay. Then there is an element, where do you start and where do you stop and hand over, right? So if we start outside, which means understanding the customer, understanding the marketing gap, doing that research, finding out where are the gaps that we need to fill, then bringing that info in, going through your business partner and meeting with the product development guys and say, this is what you need to create. Now they have created a product. They come back and say, here is a product a year later, most of the times. Anyway, they come back a year later and say, here is a product. It's ready. We are ready to launch. Then you launch. So marketing goes out, launches the project, goes full shebang. Every vehicle they use, push this way, digital, outdoor, indoor, whatever. Use all the media. It's done. Now the time comes when the leads start coming in. They could come in multiple channels, depending on the type of business you are in. There could be footfall, there could be digital, anything, right? Who picks up the lead is where conflict starts in most of the organizations, right? Marketing guys are saying, oh my God, you're not picking up the lead. I
Been
got
there.
you the lead. Here is a person. He's a human. He has shown interest. Give him a call. Give him a hug. Quickly. Do something. Meet the guy. And you're passing it on to who? Eventually, sales. I think your next guest will answer this then. But you give it to the sales team. Sales team, if you meet the sales team and you ask them, I'm 100% sure they have their own challenges, and they'll be saying, oh, you know what? I have this problem, that problem. I'm juggling in between so many things. I have external meetings, so many things. The part we can't understand is, I've given you a lead in a plate.
A hot one.
Exactly. Why aren't you quickly addressing it? Because one single lead, one single customer who left all of his information with you and is now expecting a phone call, right? The moment you don't call that person, now the whole marketing has backfired, because he doesn't like your campaign, doesn't like your form, doesn't want to see your brand again. He will try to forget and delete that website he went to and unfriend you from any social media that he was
shift
following.
delete.
No, because I came and you did not address, you did not attend me. Bye bye. There are so many others. I'll go there. I'll go elsewhere. So, I mean, this is the situation we find ourselves in many times. And is there a silver bullet? Is there a solution? I don't think so. I don't know. If I know, I'll tell you. But I think lot of automation can help. Lot of new tools, AI probably, but there is only one problem, which is that I might still want to speak to a person, and I want still to be. I remember, I won't mention the name, a car campaign on Instagram. I saw it, and the message was, click, book a test drive now. And I was like, oh, fantastic. Very good. Call for action, straightforward, perfect, beautiful picture. You can see this is the car. It's electric and blah blah blah, and a very nice, and it was scrollable. So I saw 4 or 5 pictures. Everything was beautiful. The environment was lovely, and the call for action was straightforward, very simple. I pressed on it. Another page opened, which picked up my name, my info already from Instagram. So the form was already filled. I said, "Oh, that was very nice. Thank you very much. I don't have to put my number in and my name again and everything." Oh, very good. Everything is picked up. Brilliant. What do I do next? Oh, that's it. I press send, and I'll receive a call. 2 weeks later,
Oh my God. Okay.
I receive a call. And I was thinking of that poor marketing guy who worked hard to develop all that campaign. And then they sat down in a room and everybody said, "Okay, guys, shall I press the button and launch this campaign? Yeah, brilliant idea. Let's do it." And they're like, "Here we go. It's going to work and bring lots of sales." How? Because we are selling a car. So people would like to feel the car and sit in the car. So let's do a test drive. The more people we bring in, which means footfall, which is the most difficult thing to do. Somebody gets in his car, comes to your showroom, parks the car, comes inside and says, "Where is the car I want to test drive?" Right? A full process.
Agreed.
So what did the marketing magnet do? Brought you all the way in the showroom. Here is it, right? So I receive a call 2 weeks later, and I was like, "Oh," immediately I remembered, yeah, that's the campaign. It was a test case. I said, "Brilliant." I answered very nicely because I also have a team who do the same job. So I want to be very nice to a call. And she said that, "Sir, you have shown interest in this car."
2 weeks
I
ago.
said,
But yeah.
"Yeah, I did." And she said, "Sir, unfortunately, we don't have the car here yet." I said,
Okay.
"You don't have the car here?" But the but I pressed on test driving, right? So how will I do a test drive? She said, "You can still come and visit the showroom and see other cars because this car is not yet arrived." I said, "No problem. Okay, when will it arrive?" She said, "Next year."
All right.
Right? So all of your previous questions are answered in this case because marketing was not involved when this was being planned, right?
True. Looks like it.
Someone gave them a wrong brief. They started working on it. They launched a campaign. Leads are coming in. And now I'm giving them a phone call and telling them, "Bye bye, don't come." Will I ever go back to that brand? Forget it. They've lost the customer. No way. I'm not going back. I'll
100%.
probably go back just to have a laugh, but no, you're not. That's it. Decided, gone, finished. Long time ago, at that time, the product was auto loan.
Right.
We did a very lengthy research from a research company, and I remember going to the ground so that I can be part of that research and see exactly how the journey goes on and what are we doing. So we picked up few customers, asked them the question, "When do you plan to buy a car?" Right? These are the people who wanted to buy a car. So when do you plan? So somebody saying in 3 months' time, 1 month time, tomorrow, all of that. Ask the question, "Why?" And they would say, "Because I saw it on the road." This was the number one. I mean, this is the old research, so don't quote me on that, but old
Right.
research. But at that time, I think a big percentage of people were saying, "We decide on the purchase after we see it on the road." They were not saying on the ad or something. We asked, there were multiple questions. They were saying when we see it on the road. Okay. So when you see it on the road, your interest develops that you want to buy this car. What happens next and next and next? We wanted to reach a one line answer, which was, when do you actually decide about the money that you need to pay? And do you have it or not? Because in those days, people would buy a car if they have the money. Today, people buy a car because if they have the down payment, right?
That is correct.
So it's changed. It's different. But okay. So we wanted to reach to that conclusion. When do you exactly decide? And we found out big number again of people saying yes. And I'm talking about 4,000-5,000 sample sizes and bigger. By the way, no, I'll talk about that later. Research part. I'll tell you something. Anyway, so we found out when a person comes to the showroom and he wants to either test drive or feel the car, understand? He changes his mind about the color. Even
Interesting.
if he has decided, he'll come there, he'll look at it. I changed my mind about the car. This is better. Okay, that's number one. Number two, he'll sit in the car, and when he holds the steering and closes the door and puts the belts on and just feeling and looking at the car, that's when he starts thinking, what about the money? Because this car is 140,000, let's say. So I don't have 140,000, although I'm looking at the top spec of this whatever model, right? That's where. So guess what was the marketing? So this was the marketing problem. What was the answer? The answer was a simple dangler which was in the
Wow.
center mirror of the car where it said, "We will take, well done that you have now decided on your car. Congratulations. Here is what you need to pay, and this is the QR code that you need to scan. We'll take care of the rest, and your auto loan will be pre-approved or approved or whatever." Right? Now, why was it was a very successful campaign? Not even a campaign, a dangler.
No, it
We,
makes
di- we
sense.
didn't we, we didn't put in a press or anything. A dangler. You didn't spend money. You printed dangler is smaller than a leaflet. So you printed dangler, then you went to these showrooms, speak to the manager, and because we were quite a big company, so they agreed, and then we hung them in the cars. That's it, and you start getting the leads instantly.
Wow.
So it's like we could have easily gone and said, okay, let's launch a campaign and brand the airport, because we're going to go big. That's not the solution.
No, it makes
Because
sense.
if you haven't done the research, you're going to do a big mistake. You're going to spend money somewhere else, and it is eventually not going to get you the results you want. So, anyway, again, a long answer. And go ahead.
Well, in the interest of time,
Yeah.
it's getting really interesting, and I don't want this session to end, but probably we'll have to do another one because
Part
it's
two.
interesting. Part two, yes, exactly. And I mean, to wrap this up, I think one thing we are sure of now from question one, that if you weren't a marketer, you would be selling cars, because
Oh, for
most of
sure.
the examples were from the automotive industry,
Mostly cars, yeah.
right?
Although I haven't worked for car companies at all.
I think you need to.
Yeah.
Or start your own, you never know.
Yeah.
So any advice for anyone who wants to get into marketing? I mean, one, I would want to know that what do they need to do to be you? And number two, any advice? Do they need to take marketing courses? Do they need to take a university degree? Or all they need to do is just start following marketers and read about them? What do they should be doing?
Uh, Look, I think if I want to address the younger generation, because that's what, and when I meet young people who have recently finished college, university, and they're looking for jobs and stuff, and then they get the jobs. Let's say one thing that they don't want to do is they don't want to do everything. I would suggest do everything in marketing, right? Touch on how the websites are done, touch on how the research is done, touch on how a Google campaign is run, touch on how SEO works. Don't limit yourself to one subject and then just do that. Marketing as a principle, everything will give you insights and will help you grow, will help you learn. And when you are young, you can work harder, and you can read till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the night and still be fresh in the morning. Right? So
Gone are the days, but yeah.
I know, for us, yes, but like youngsters, they just need to do a bit more research, a bit more reading. Sometimes I have seen, if I give them something to do, they'll come back very quickly. They're very fast, uh, but there's absolutely no background. Okay, why did you do this? What's the background? Did you at least do a Google research? Just see some other campaigns. Okay, select three and then do your answer and then say, I have seen these three and this is my solution, and I think I'm a bit inclined towards X, Y, or Z, right? So I think that's what they need. And this actually doesn't only apply to marketing, it applies to maybe all principles. Maybe other
I
people
agree.
say the same. But uh, practice makes the man perfect. Let's say that. I mean, come on, let just do more of it. Study, look at campaigns, look at research, read a bit more. There used to be a website. It still exists. I think Ads of the World.
I think it still exists.
A beautiful website. All the ads of the world are there. Can you get a better encyclopedia? I mean, come on. Ad is not produced unless a lot of homework has been done. A copyright is not generated unless there is a lot of homework done, and then it makes its appearance on a piece of paper, right? This website is a collection of ads of the world. Go there, spend your time there. It should be your first item in your favorites when you open your browser, not Facebook. Or, well, young generation doesn't use Facebook. They're on what is called Snapchats and Instas, whatever.
Instas of the world, or
So
the
even
TikTok.
there, follow hashtag marketing, follow advertising, follow something, so that you understand what's happening, what's new. It's changing so fast. It's so rapidly changing that sometimes it's really difficult to keep pace with the things that are happening. Right? AI. I'll very quickly touch on that because it's the buzzword and it's just appearing everywhere. You will need people to operate an AI.
Of course.
What AI? It's not going to happen by itself. You still need somebody to say something to it, to tell it to do something. Yes, it's going to make your life easier and faster, and you can generate more, do research more, learn more. If I want to know, okay, tell me the 10 points of what should I be buying or doing, or slogans or selling line or something, at least it gives you many options. But there is no harm in picking them up, putting it on a piece of paper, and then going on Ads of the World, looking at some of the best practices, and then looking at something that inspires you, put the three together and say, I have done my research 1, 2, and 3, and this is the outcome. Here is my answer. You'll come up with a better campaign, right? AI is not going to just magically do things for you.
Makes sense.
There are people, there are experts now who are saying that they are AI instructions that you give to it. They're engineers of those instructions. So they have to create that instruction properly. Then the computer is going to generate the answer for you because it's sitting on a lot of data that we have created, which is fed to it. So
That is
it's an
correct.
amazing resource, but you need to
No, 100%.
learn to use it.
100%. I think prompt engineering is becoming very important. Right. And just to wrap it up, we have to wrap up Marketing 101. Unfortunately, it was a pleasure. And for the people who were following the course that I started, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I spoke about being a T-shaped marketer. And that is precisely what Ali was describing now. You do everything, and then later on, when you have touched upon all the aspects of marketing, you can actually pick and choose between which ones you want to take up as a career and which ones you want to just understand. But we unfortunately have to wrap it up. Thank you very much once again for coming to Behind Marketing Lines. It's an honor and a pleasure. And I really look forward to episode 2 with Ali. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I love the name, by the way.
You do? I'm glad you liked it.
Very
Coming
nice,
from
very
you, I
nice.
think it's an honor again.
Very nice name, and I wish you all the best. Excellent initiative that you have started this. I know myself and a lot of other friends, we were thinking about it, that let's do it. And this is another lesson. Just do it.
That is correct.
Okay, great. Thank you
right.
very much. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. To wrap it up, I think we had a lot of lessons for aspiring marketers, startup founders, marketers, experienced marketers, and of course, non-marketers. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in to Behind Marketing Lines. I'll see you in the next episode.